The WNBA is in the midst of a revolution, a seismic shift, redefining the very soul of women's basketball. Every game now pulses with raw intensity. Every play echoes with the weight of legacy. And at the center of it all is a story that transcends. The sport, a story of justice, loyalty, and a league undergoing transformation. In a season where the spotlight burns hotter than ever, one moment has exploded into a defining flashpoint. This isn't just about basketball, it's about something far deeper: respect, protection, and unity. Fever, led by the transcendent Caitlin Clark. Locked in a fierce battle with the Seattle Storm, the air crackles with tension. The crowd's energy is electric. And amid the chaos of this high-stakes showdown, one player steps forward not just for her teammate, but for the future of the WNBA. That player is Sophie Cunningham. In a viral moment that ignited the basketball world, Cunningham's fearless. Defensive Clark demanded that we stop, watch, and reflect on what this league truly stands for. Rewind to the heart of the action. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie, she's a phenomenon. A once-in-a-generation talent who's rewritten the narrative of women's hoops, transforming the Indiana Fever into a cultural juggernaut. Her logo, threes splash through the net like poetry. Her no-look passes carve up defenses with surgical precision. She hasn't just arrived, she's elevated the game. Caitlin Clark has changed the game. Now the question is, who's willing to stand beside her as she continues to shape the future? Her ability to command the floor has made her the undeniable face of the WNBA, and the numbers back it up. Indiana Fever games are shattering. Rackard's one matchup peaked at 2.2 million viewers and averaged 1.7 million. It's making it the third most watched regular season game in WNBA history. Arenas are selling out. Ticket prices are soaring, ESPN reports. A 14% surge in WNBA coverage, while a BC viewership has skyrocketed by 76%. Caitlin Clark isn't just moving the needle, she is the needle. She's the gravitational force pulling fans, media, and corporate sponsors into the WNBA's orbit. But with that spotlight comes a shadow. Game after game, Clark runs a brutal gauntlet, relentless defenders, bruising contact, and a steady stream of hard fouls that test her endurance and composure. And far too often, the referees remain silent, their whistles swallowed, leaving the league's brightest star unprotected. Now, let's zoom in on the Seattle Storm game, a clash already etched in WNBA lore as a potential turning point. From the opening tip, Clark is under siege. She's swarmed off the ball, grabbed on screens, shoved on drives, and leaned into with elbows and hips, daring the officials to make a call. The message from defenders is clear: wear her down. And the response from the refs? Deafening silence. In one pivotal sequence, Caitlin Clark drives to the rim, a defender's arm raking across her midsection in what is clearly a foul. The referee, just feet away and eyes locked on the play, does nothing. No whistle, no call, just a deafening silence. The crowd erupts in disbelief. On X and TikTok, fans break down the moment frame by frame, their frustration boiling over. How can the player fueling the WNBA's cultural and economic explosion be left so unprotected? How can the league's biggest draw, the one filling arenas, breaking viewership records, driving revenue, be denied the same star treatment routinely afforded in every other major league? And then, like a scene ripped straight from a Hollywood script, Sophie Cunningham steps into the spotlight. A soft ticky-tack foul is called on her. Her arms raised, defense textbook, barely making contact, yet the whistle blows. The arena groans. The contrast is stark and blinding. Clark gets hammered with no calls, while Cunningham is penalized for a breath of contact. It's a glaring double standard, a snapshot of something much deeper. And in that moment, the question becomes impossible to ignore. Is the WNBA truly protecting its stars, or is it failing the very player leading its revolution? In that instant, Cunningham, a fierce competitor with fire in her veins, draws a line in the sand. This moment isn't about one missed call. It's about fairness, loyalty, and standing up for the player who is redefining the game. Cunningham's viral reaction isn't an outburst. It's a rebellion. She's defending Caitlin Clark, her teammate, the face of the league. And in doing so, she sends a message loud and clear. If the league won't protect our star, we will. The emotional weight of that moment ripples far beyond the hardwood. Fans have had enough. They're not staying silent anymore. Across social media, fans are doing what the league won't, posting side-by-side clips that lay the truth bare. Caitlin Clark getting hacked with no whistle, while players like Sophie Cunningham are called for the softest touch. The numbers back it up. Clark's games with the Indiana Fever are driving a historic surge in viewership, with ESPN reporting a 33% increase in regular season audiences compared to last year. This isn't just basketball, it's a cultural movement, and Clark is its heartbeat. And yet, the league's response? Silence. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has offered no statement, no press conference, not even a tweet to address the growing outrage around officiating inconsistencies. The WNBA is eager to ride Clark's wave for sold-out arenas. Viral highlights and massive economic impact, but when it comes to protecting her on the court, they vanish. Cunningham's stand is a clarion call, a defining moment that crystallizes what's at stake. And Clark's teammates feel it too. Aaliyah Boston, thriving off the gravity Clark creates, erupted for a career-high 31 points and 8 rebounds against Seattle, shooting a blistering 72% from the field. Kelsey Mitchell was unstoppable, dropping 26 points and hitting 5 Vevin from deep. Her confidence soaring thanks to the space Clark opens up. These aren't isolated performances, they're the ripple effects of one. Players' presence and a team's unshakable belief that their superstar deserves better. And then the floor opened even more. Lexi Hall, inspired by Clark's leadership, notched her first career double-double, a milestone born from Clark's contagious energy. And in a powerful gesture of sportsmanship, Erica Wheeler, now with Seattle, paused to check on Clark. After a hard fall, a simple act of respect that spoke volumes. Because this isn't just about fouls or missed calls, it's about what Clark represents. And the message from fans, teammates, and now even opponents is clear: Caitlin Clark has changed everything. But it's time for the league to change with her. These aren't just isolated stats or fleeting moments, they're living proof of Caitlin Clark's immense influence. Even on a night when her own shot wasn't falling, scoring just 6 points and committing 8 turnovers, Clark still orchestrated a 94-86 Fever victory, delivering 9 assists, 3 steals, and commanding the floor with a presence far beyond her years. That's not just talent, that's transcendence. That's why Sophie Cunningham stepped up. That's why fans are rallying, because this moment, this movement is bigger than basketball. Caitlin Clark is carrying a billion-dollar brand on her 22-year-old shoulders. She's filling arenas, spiking ticket prices, selling out merchandise, and turning the WNBA into a global conversation. Before her arrival, the league struggled for consistent viewership with 300,000 viewers per game, considered a win. Now Clark's presence has transformed the WNBA into a prime-time spectacle. She's not just a player, she's a cultural force. A Midwestern kid with infectious warmth who signs jerseys, chats with young fans, and carries herself with a grace that wins hearts. As one fan beautifully put it, she's so welcoming, so warm, she's cut from the same cloth as us. And yet, every night, she endures cheap shots, hostile energy, and a system that seems content to let her fight alone. Sophie Cunningham's viral moment is a wake-up call, a demand for accountability. If the referees won't protect Clark, her teammates will. If the league won't speak up, the fans will land. They're doing it loudly. On X, on TikTok, and sold-out arenas, they're united with one powerful, undeniable message. Caitlin Clark deserves better. Deserves better.